Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today a treat has just arrived via FedEx. So I've just had a delivery literally minutes ago, not opened it yet, just a box here. And it's from Japan, it's from Hobbylink Japan. Now before I open it, so I've got no idea how good or bad it is inside, we'll talk about that later. But I need to just share with you my experiences of Hobbylink Japan. This is a kit that I actually ordered back in January, February I think it was. 6 months ago basically, so I've waited 6 months. And I've got some reservations about Hobbylink Japan. I've got to say that their efficiency at getting this to you when they have it in stock is like lightning. But they didn't make it clear they didn't have it in stock, first of all. This is my first annoyance. I'm not coming on my channel now to start doing down companies, by the way. But if you're in the United Kingdom or USA and you have to ship, it's not cheap, of course. You've got customs, you've got all sorts of issues, shipping costs being the main one. But the issues really was just this. I'll just get this off my chest and then we'll move on. Hobbylink Japan didn't say it wasn't in stock. Their website is not the clearest in terms of communicating whether it's in stock or not. I believe it was in stock and clicked buy. Oh, we'll let you know as soon as it comes back into stock. Oh, great. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. Now, I don't mind that if they'd have told me and said it'll be 6 months, you know. That's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it, really? I mean, I would never have clicked buy on this particular item if I'd known that it wasn't there, actually. And I find that a little bit misleading, and I think that's wrong. The second point is, and this is actually the worst point, I get this email last week saying, your item is now in stock. And automatically paying them by PayPal. So automatically it pays them because I clicked PayPal, pay with PayPal once it comes into stock, which is fair enough. But then they send me another email and it says, please advise which shipping service you want. Now again, call me naive if you want, but it's not a case of that. They never communicated that there was no shipping, the shipping wasn't included. I thought the shipping, I won't say about the prices, that wouldn't be fair, but it was a reasonably very competitive price, and I thought, yeah, okay, I think I'll get this. And even when I realised I'd have to wait, I thought, I'll wait, okay, you know. But then the shipping cost is way more than the cost of the kit, way more. I mean, I've just got stung for shipping costs. An option that would have saved me, I think, £7, and said it would be with you in 4 to 5 months. By putting it on ships, or it comes via airmail through FedEx straight on the next aircraft, and I had to pay £30, which is more than the kit cost. The kit cost me £24 and it was £30 shipping. Now in some respects you will expect this, especially from Japan, or if you know anywhere shipping across the world, especially if you have it done quickly. But my questions to them would be, why was it only £7 cheaper for 4 to 5 months, which is just, and I felt like writing back. I said, I've waited 6 months already for this. You should be sending me free shipping, really. But you should certainly clearly tell people at the beginning of the process how much the shipping costs, whether it is in stock or not. This is not acceptable to me. Not acceptable at all. And I'm afraid that despite the fact, as I say, once they had it in stock, they have really been quick. You know, I mean, I paid the 30 quid and it came, I agreed to pay £30 on Friday afternoon, Monday lunchtime, in fact, before noon, Monday, just before noon, it arrived from Japan. So that's been on an airplane over the weekend straight here. So that is actually very impressive. I am genuinely impressed. But what I'm not impressed with is the way that Hobbylink Japan don't make it clear about if it's in stock and what it's going to cost to ship it when you actually click buy. I think that's very misleading. I'm not going to be using them again, to be honest. So I've ceased the ability for them to bill me for anything. And I would just say to anybody who's going to Japan, I'm sure it applies to other merchants as well, be very careful. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, because if they don't state it, don't assume it, because I'm guilty of making that mistake, if you like. But I think that they should clearly state up front whether it's in stock, when it will be in stock, if they know, and certainly tell you how much they're going to charge you for shipping, and they didn't do that. Anyway, that's it. Rant over, but I just want to get that off my chest to prevent others that are watching this video from getting stung in the same way. So I ended up paying, for something that was £23, I ended up paying, what was it? £54. £54 in total. No, not good enough, I'm afraid. I don't mind the money so much as it's the way I've been misled. I don't like that. I mean, this is a kit you cannot get locally. You can't get this in Europe. I've not found anywhere that's selling it currently. Let's get into the kit and stop moaning. But it's not right. You should be knowing what you're getting yourself into. This is one of the long distance selling regulations is supposed to stop that, really, isn't it? And I think that I'm not in a position where I'm going to complain. Probably, I'm just not going to go back. So. Hobby Link Japan, if you watch this video and you haven't done very well there, you need to change your practices, you really do. You need to make it clear what the customer is getting themselves into in terms of cost and when they're going to see the product. I've never seen such a hard to follow and ambiguous website as theirs, to be honest. Anyway, here we go, it's time for a model review of something completely new. It's not a brand new release. It's not a brand new release. They've done it well, the packaging's good. It is, of course, the US Navy's A-7D /E Corsair Hasegawa 48 scale. I bought this really, I'm not sure if it was Phil Flory in this team, I think it was, many moons ago, probably last year. They were talking about it on one of their live chat shows, I think, because I'm one of their members, And it was like word of mouth discussion really, and basically they were saying that this is the best Corsair in any scale. And I thought, yeah, those Hasegawa do tend to be pretty good, so let's get into it and see what we've got. That packaging is good. The packaging and shipping experience, once I've been ripped off, was actually good. I did get what I paid for, but I would like to have known that at the beginning. Anyway, there we go. So what have we got? This looks like a really nice one, Hasegawa Corporation. It's their kit number 07247. On the side we've got rather a nice finished kit, which I always like to see. Not like this silly nonsense that Revell seem to be starting with, CAD cam images on the side, which look absolutely terrible, completely misleading. That's what you're going to get if you paint it and do it correctly. That's what the finished product will look like. Which is what we want to see, that's great. Not a lot of writing in English around it, if I'm honest. It's mainly the basics, saying it's a model kit. So, let's take a look inside. Let's see what we've got, because I have waited a long time for this. I can't believe it was New Year when I bought it, and here I am, it's now Q3. As I say, it's not surprising perhaps, but it would be nice to have been told that it's going to be several months, and it would be nice to be told how much it's going to charge me. There's a Soviet bomber here that's just been escorted away by the VA-82 Marines Marauders, the look of it. Now what have we got in the box? Let's put that over there. It's nice to have something I haven't seen before, and that I actually own. It makes a change. I'm still wearing the gloves because you don't know whether I keep them or not. Sometimes I buy kits and I think I'll build that, and then I look at it later and think it's too big. Should be okay with this one, but some of them, I just think I've got no room for this. Where am I going to put it? It's crazy. So I treat them as if they're all, somebody else's property, just in case I do sell them on. And then I put it on eBay and say I've not handled this with my bare hands, because it's true. Right then, let's get into this. We've got one big bag. I'm going to sort out with my trusty knife in a moment, but first let's have a look at the decals, because I do like to look at decals first, if I'm honest, and they look rather splendid. Made in Japan, it says. Right, we've got some really rather nice graphics. So we've got USS Nimitz as an option, that's cool, and that would go very nicely with my Tomcat, which is from the Nimitz as well. So that must be the VA-82 Marauders, yes it is. And then we've got, is it just one option? No, there's a second option, isn't there? 1, 2, 3 options, I think. Look at this, we've got the lion here. It looks like the New Avengers logo, doesn't it? Those of you in the UK of a certain age will remember the New Avengers was a TV series, and they had these 3 special agents. Who was it? Purdy, Steed, and who's the chap called? My brain's gone blank. Completely gone blank. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm sure you're all shouting out. Those in live chat will be shouting out. Gareth Hunt. But what was his character called? Brain's gone. Very nice though, very nice graphics. Minimal carrier film. These look really rather nice. I think that Hasegawa's decals do tend to be really a bit of a cut above, really. Some of the best you're going to see, apart from Cartograph, frankly. Can't fault anything there. Then we've got our instruction sheet, and we've got, sorry, zooming out, nice bit of history here. Let's read that to you. The A-7D Corsair, I've got two separate histories. A-7D Corsair is an offensive aircraft of the US Air Force. The US Air Force acquired the Navy's A-7A for its excellent ability and low costs as a successor to the F-100 Super Sabre to become its main aircraft. The D model is vastly improved with the Pratt & Whitney TF30 engines. But they were later replaced by the TF41A Allison turbofan engine. Okay. Moreover, the aircraft was fitted with an APU, auxiliary power unit, to reinforce it. The fixed armament of one Vulcan cannon instead of the two previous 20mm cannons as well. Wow. That's going to be interesting to see. Finally, the in-flight refueling probe and drogue system has been changed to a flying boom system. So this is like the in-flight refueling probe and drogue, flying boom, and the front landing gear catapult launch bar has been removed. The armour has been reinforced through the main strong point and the avionics as an improvement. For the first time, the US aircraft is fitted with a head-up display HUD and has ECM, electronic countermeasures ability. And these have all been improved. It has recently received the addition of the Pave Penny Laser Illuminated Target Detector Guided Weapon System. Okay, so that's the D. Then we've got the E, and it says this is a carrier-borne aircraft developed to replace the Skyhawk. Well, it's certainly better than that, isn't it? Skyhawks were pretty rough, I thought. I thought they were okay, but you know, limited capacity, not quick, not that manoeuvrable. And this plane was really a monster by comparison. Equipped with the A engine, later replaced by the B, as we just talked about. This created a much more powerful version. Now being utilised by the Navy and modified for its requirements as the A-7E, and this E version has seen the largest volume of production of all. The main characteristics of the A-7E are... I'm just realising I will zoom you out because you're not seeing much here, are you? The main characteristics are that it also has the M61 Vulcan cannon as an internal armament. Very powerful gun. The A-7E is also equipped with a catapult hook carrier operations, and the inboard starting equipment mounted on the A-7D has been removed from the D, has been removed. The A-7E is further equipped with the AAR-45 infrared forward observation pod mounted in the pylon on the right wing. Okay. The information supplied to this by this equipment is provided in the form of the HUD system and vastly improves the aircraft's nighttime. Full stop. I have to say, I'm actually paraphrasing some of this because I can tell the English is so badly written. Somebody's got the Japanese English translation a bit off. Aircraft's nighttime performance, I think it should say. And then it gives the basic spec of it. So let's have a look at the actual instructions then. So let's zoom you back in. And I think it might be for a treat, because I say most people seem to think this is the best Corsair you can get. Bit of a sprue tree map on this side, and then we get right in to the instructions over here. Right, so we're building up our cockpit canopy, complete with pilot, which is nice to see. And then we've got the option. There's two options here. I get the feeling you need to be very careful and read this before you go charging in with the glue, because there's two different versions. It's important you get it right. I'm not entirely clear about which version is which. Are they telling you here? No, not really, are they? It's not overly clear. Anyway, perhaps when there's more time you need to go through it with a fine tooth comb. So you build up this the tub of the cockpit canopy area, the cockpit itself I should say. Then you've got your instrumentation here, which looks very nice, and you've got your intake obviously for the engine, which basically the pilot's cockpit tub sits right on top of that. Then you're bringing in your two fuselage halves and your jet pipe at the back. You've got vertical stabiliser assembly going in, and I'm not sure if that's an ECM pod, this part here. It's right underneath the tail, but whether that's for parachute, not quite sure. Maybe for a parachute deployment, not sure. Air brake, obviously, air brake assembly under the front. Because obviously these planes need to stop fairly rapidly, especially on the carrier, because they're quite a powerful, rapid machine. And you've obviously got some odd modifications you might need to do there if you want to have it open or closed. Then, they're very busy looking instructions, aren't they? I'm not sure I like the style, but anyway. Then you've got these side panels, which has got lots of electronics and things in it, I think. It is the side panel. Yeah, it's not the gear bays, they're further back. Oops, didn't see that. You've got these electronic panels and all sorts of electronic trickery. And then further back you've got your gear bay. And you've got some plumbing going on here as well, with pitos and things. And on the other side you've got the same, but you've also got the refueling probe here. Then we've got our gear legs. Oops, bring it in the frame. Gear legs, and the front gear shows how it, whether it's retracted or when it's on the carrier deck, how it looks when it's ready for the steam catapult. Because it catches on like a latch system, doesn't it? It's like latched on and then it shoots off and then it retracts. I guess it's like a spring-loaded thing on the actual aircraft. Then you've got your front gear going in here, plus all the doors, and there's various little intakes and things there. Main gear assembly coming on there, which looks quite detailed. Yeah, there's a lot of arrows and things. It's all very busy the way that they are portraying this sort of detail. It's not the clearest or easiest to follow instructions I've ever seen. Then you've got your tail arrestor hook, and you've got another pod going in here. The tail back end of the fuselage. Then you've got some sidewinder missiles on either side on a little pylon that actually attaches to the actual fuselage, unusually, not the wings. Then you've got your main wing assembly here, and of course you have the option to have the wings folded or straight in this model. So it's a bit like a big version of the Matchbox kit, isn't it? You've got leading edge slats as well, which is nice, I like that. And you've even got slats on the wing tips as well. So you've got slats on the main wing and slats on the tips at the far end. That's really good. Shows you the correct angles they should be at if you want to have them down, which is really well. This is good. They've done that well. Pretty clearer than some of the rest. And then you're going to go put these wings on. It drops on top. Obviously that avoids seams and things, which is quite a good way of doing it. And then, as I say, you've got the choice. You either have the wings straight out like this, or you have them folded like so. Then you're building your canopy up, which has got a nice frame, and the glasswork goes on the top of that. Complete with like a back bulkhead here. And again, quite well laid out. They're showing you the angles of what it should look like when it's actually open. And of course you've got a little hydraulic sort of piston prop. Not piston prop as an engine, but piston, you know, as a, what do you call it? A gas strut is the word I'm looking for. That props it open. And then you're moving on to your weapons, and you've got your loadout with your pylons here, and your sway braces going on, which look quite good. You've got tanks, you've got, it looks like tanks, it looks like maybe drop tanks, and I think napalm or bombs, and it's got a huge guide of external stores here. Look at this. There's a whole load of external stores to go at. I wish they hadn't printed it so small though. I think this instruction should be a lot bigger. There's a lot of can you see what I'm talking about? There's a whole huge amount of sort of open spaces in these instructions, and then they've got these very small diagrams where everything's crammed in. So I think that could have been better designed. Now you're going to repeat. This is basically the first one that you just seen was the. I think now I'm understanding it better. Okay, US Navy. It sort of tells you here, but again, it's not that clear the way they lead you into it. Then you're going to do the whole assembly we just talked about all over again, but with those various different parts, subtle differences here and there. Things like the nose gear, not having the arrestor, no arrestor hook and no nose gear catches and things like that. So it's a bit of a simpler build Everything else is going to be the same really, so just one or two subtle differences I think. Yeah, for sure. And then you come to the paint scheme. So you've got your Marauders here, which is the USS Nimitz. I think I might go for that one because that will go nice in my Tomcat. It's also Nimitz-based aircraft. You've got all your colour call-outs and your various stencil data there, including the ones that go on the weapons. And then, oh, now hang on a minute, there's an Air Force One here that looks very cool in Southeast Asia camo. Oh, that looks quite good. I do like the Southeast Asia style as well. That's, in fact, I think that's the same as the Matchbox. Tell by the tail number LV. I think that is the same squadron as on the Matchbox kit. I think it might be. That you, of course, everybody remembers the Matchbox kit because it's incredible artwork where they just dropped a load of bombs and they just exploded in the background while two Corsairs come screaming toward the viewer. But that's a nice scheme. It's a wraparound Southeast Asia scheme, like it. And then you've got another US Navy scheme where I think it's pale grey, but it's a slightly later scheme, I think. Yeah, that's like an overall. Is it? The experts amongst you have made lots of these US Navy planes. Is it Ghost Grey? It's one of the US Greys, isn't it? And then we've just got the general advice on the back, which you'd think they'd put at the front, really. It's a bit late when you get to the back, but there we go. Okay, so far so good. I think that some of those instructions were super clear and really good. Great history on the front like that. And then they've got these diagrams where they've got them like it's like they've miniaturised everything. You need magnifiers just to understand what they're on about. And then you've got these big empty spaces around the page. I think they could design it better, their instructions, but anyway. There's no protective tissue, I've noticed, with any of the decals, which is odd. So, I'm not sure why they don't do that really. I'm curious. Let's have a look at the actual plastic, shall we? I don't have to worry about cutting this open because it is my own. It's sort of crimp sealed at that end. I think I might just go for the same end. I'll try and open it as neatly as possible, he says. There we go. Just one big bag which I don't really like. It's a bit Airfix-like, isn't it, that? Everything's grinding against every other sprue. There's quite a lot of sprues in here as well, so I would have preferred them to be in separate bags, I've got to be honest. Oh, there's some photo etch. A lot of sprues. Pull the parts off the sprue we got. Right, not sure where to begin. Let's see what we have. Okay. Right. Oh, yes, now it does look quite nice, I've got to say. Now, as I said, I think it was Phil Fleury's team were discussing it and they were in agreement that this was the best Corsair in any scale. So I hope I'm in for a real proper treat here. And I think we're going to be alright. Let's have a look at this because straight away this is jumping out at me as being a very high quality bit of injection moulding. Now then, just look at the detail here. You've got some really fine detail. Look at this electronics bay here. That's amazing. Oh my god, that's really, really good. Get to focus. There we go. Look at the detail there. Look at all the little boxes and wires, and that's all pre-moulded for you. That's nice. That's a cracking bit of moulding. I really am impressed with that. And then you've got the gear bay, and again, lots of detail on the gear bay. It's a bit flashy here and there, nothing serious, but just little traces of it. Then you've got your tail plane. We've got some nice details here with all the panels and the rudder. Pity it wasn't a separate rudder, but never mind. And then, over here, we have got the intake for the engine, which obviously goes underneath the cockpit. You've got your cockpit tub here, and then you've got this intake, and then again there's some really, really nice detailing going on here. I'm starting to forgive the costs and the time and the inconvenience I've had with this kit because It has been the longest, one of the longest awaited kits I've had, that I wasn't expecting it to be long. I thought they had it in stock and they didn't, but anyway. Look at the electronics bay on the opposite side. It's got a different design, obviously, different electronics are in there, but again, look at that. That is some really nice injection moulding there. And we've got, again, the main gear bay, looks very nice. We've got some fantastic riveting, recess rivets, recess panel lines. It looks stunning, doesn't it? Look at the air brake as well here. That's nice, isn't it? I like it, I like it. Some more bits of internal sort of bulkheads, etc. We've got the cockpit I mentioned already. Then we've got the intake of the fan, intake end of the engine, and then we've got the jet pipe at the back. Doesn't have afterburner, I don't think, this aircraft, does it? I don't think it does. Just a big engine, basically, a big monster of an engine. Well, that's really nice. It's a little bit flashy. You can see it on one or two of the parts. Yeah, here, for example, little bits of flash creeping in. But it's a nice quality plastic. The moulding is very, very crisp, I've got to say. If we go at the other end and have a look at some of these detail parts, look at this. We've got the ejection seats here. Got the main gear legs, I think that is there. And then we've got the framework for the canopy. That's actually broken. Oh dear. That's a bit of a black mark for somebody there in the shipping department. It's broken, if you see that. It's the frame of the canopy. I don't think it's going to be a major... There we go. There we go. In fact, I'm going to do a live repair on television, because that does need to be sorted, doesn't it? I'll just forget it otherwise. That needs sorting. It really does. Let's just get a blob of extra thin on it, I think, and that'll fix it nicely. Get high on that, don't you? There we go. I think we've fixed it. Got the alignment okay? I haven't got my super duper glasses on, so there we go. Got it now. Got it now. That's got it. In fact, if I just put another blob underneath, do some model making. Hey, all those people that say I don't make them, read it and weep. Yeah, I got that. There we go. Just a little blob just to help it. Right. Okay. So, as I was saying, so you've got these really nice bits of detail parts here with the gear. That looks really nice. Check that out. That's all right, isn't it? Look at that. Very detailed, nicely moulded. Yeah, just a few parts need a little bit of clean up here and there. Nothing too bad. It's not severe at all. So we'll put that one over there gently, because it still needs to that glue to just set. Then we have got the drop tanks. Drop tanks or napalm? I can never tell with these Navy aircraft. I think they're drop tanks, in fairness. And we've got 3 of the same sprue that I've got in hand here. There's actually a triple. Looks very nice. Look at the detail on the cap there, where it's the filler cap here. Nice, isn't it? Get a bit closer. There we go. See that? That's very impressive. You see all the little rivets around it. Yeah, like that. Very nice. So that's that one. Is there only 3 of them, or is there 4? Unless there's 4 of those. That sprue. There's 4 of them. Gosh. And then we have got some of the small parts of this sprue. So we've got the combing that goes in front of the cockpit instruments here. Again, nicely detailed. See that? We've got the nose gear leg here for the carrier. And then we've got the doors, we've got some instrumentation. Oops. See that? Instruments here. And a couple of little intakes and things. That's a nice sprue. Nice sprue. We've got a little teensy sprue here which has got the ejector seats on it. As you can see. And then you've got the sides with the ejector seat there. And then we've got another duplicate sprue, which is the one that's got the Sparrow missiles on it. So this is for air-to-air combat, and it's also got pylon, quite a sophisticated pylon that has all these sway braces on it. That's a nice sprue. That Sparrow is actually really nicely moulded. It's even got the gyro wheels at the back, very clearly kind of visible. That's awesome. You got your little fins and the sway braces are there. Those are nicely moulded. There's no flash there. Oh, that's a nice sprue. There's two of those. There's quite a few sprues that are sort of replicated and repeated. Here we've got a bit more. I think it's a bit more from the panel to the side panel for the ejector seat, and a bit of the front gear bay. That's that one. Then we have this photo etch. There's not much of it. This I think is the. I'm not sure what it is actually. It's the bit that goes under the wing. I think I called it piping. I'm not sure it's part of the reinforcement for where the sidewinders are, or whether it's to do with refueling. I'm not absolutely clear, but I'll leave that in this packet. It's very nice and thin. Very thin photo etch this. It's not like Tamiya, it's really thin. You barely feel it. Very nice. And then we get into the some of the real meat and potatoes of the kit with the wings. Let's zoom you out for this. The wing, and they've got this top wing style that drops on top of the kit onto the fuselage. But we've got some really nice detailing. I'm going to zoom you back in for this. Look at the detail of this wing. Look at that. Beautiful rivets. Recessed rivets. And you can see again, this is for the underside, recessed rivets again. And then you've got all these slats and flaps and slats. I don't know, there's the slats, aren't there? For the front of the wing. And some other detailed small parts. Very nicely moulded, that is. Got to say, that's, yeah. Oh! Did I just catch that, or did I just drop off of its own volition? I think it actually dropped off its own volition. It's actually the pilot's seat that's just come off. It's alright, I'm going to probably build this kit one day, and they're not too distant anyway. So we won't worry about that. That just leaves us with 3 sprues to go. It's interesting, this one. It's a very interesting kit indeed. I mean, £23 I paid for it, which is an absolute gift, but it's not really, is it? It was actually £54 once I paid for the postage, so there we go. Here we've got the pilot. He looks quite good, I've got to say. Yeah, quite like the pilot there, that's quite nice. And we've got, it looks like we've got the alien head, as I call it, you know. Because he's got his, it's that way up as you look at it. It helps if I get it in the right place there. Yeah, so as you look at the head here, sorry, there. So as you look at it, to the right of the screen is forwards, okay. And then you've got various other small parts like the gear legs, etc. I think that's the gear leg for the front nose wheel. Then we've got some very nice pylons, and again some very nice detailing here. Look at that. All the engraved panel lines on the actual pylons themselves. A lot of manufacturers don't bother with this, they sort of cut corners on things like that, but that's been done well. And then you've got these slats for the front of the wing, and you've got your tail, moving tail plane. No, sorry, the wingtips. Sorry, it's the wingtips. It's just the size, they look like a tailplane, don't they? There we go, it's the tips of the wings. So that's the top, and I think that side is the bottom. Yeah. Those are your tailplanes, just below. Very nice. And the pilot's not bad, he's got some really nice detail. He's got these pockets, padded pockets, like stowage pouches in front of his flight overalls. It certainly looks good. And then there's one more grey sprue left, and that is the, again we've got more of the front, another optional nose wheel leg for the front gear, and you've got one of the hydraulic rams for it there, and again some different type of coving, obviously slightly different on this version, and instruments are obviously different as well. You've got some instrumentation switches for the cockpit there, and we've got, I'm sure what that's supposed to be. It's a very strange shape, isn't it? Something to do with the engine, I think. Well, it shows like reminds me of a Harrier intake, but anyway. And then you've got one of the gear doors, I think it is, or vents from the APU, I think that is, near the back. And you've got the main gear doors there. And various small parts which seem quite nicely moulded. Still a little hint of flash here and there, but not severe. You just see it there on this combing, can't you, where my finger is? Yeah, a little flashy bit there. But no, overall there's some very fine detail. Look at the little vents on those gear doors. See them? It's caught in the light there. That's nice. Very, very well done. And then last but not least, we have the clear part. I'm going to open these so you can have a good look at it. Zoom you back a bit so you can see what exactly is going on. So you know it's not one that I prepared earlier. I've noticed how red I am today. We've had some really good weather this weekend in the UK. It's not been as hot, but it's been very bright. And I was out both days at the weekend. I was out at motor racing on Saturday, and then a motoring festival, transport festival yesterday with lots of classic cars and things. So I've got 2 days of heavy sunshine, so I've gone a bit redder than usual. Hope it doesn't affect the camera too much. Either that or it's the drink. No, it's the sun, trust me. Now then, ooh, this is nice. Look at this. This is nice. This is very scale-like. It's very thin. I like it. I like it. Yes. Yeah, look at that. You see how thin it looks? That's really good. 48 scale, yeah. You've got all the framework on the front windscreen there. That's very, very nice. You've got little windows here and there, lights. And again, the framework at the back of the canopy that lifts. It's really rather good. It's really rather good. Well, I can understand why people say that it's the best Corsair, because I haven't seen one better. I think it's a kit that you'd think that somebody would retool, really. Maybe a Tamiya thing, you know, that should be something they'd consider perhaps. But those clear parts are very, very nice, I've got to say. It's very, very scale-like and unusually so. Very, very finely, thinly produced. So what do we think? Well, it's a little bit flashy, so it's going to lose a point, I think, for the flashiness, because I didn't really expect that. I'm going to bring it all back. I won't put it on the box, but I need to reassemble what we have. And have the box at least back in one piece. So, Hasegawa's A-7D or E Corsair. What do we think? Well, I think the instructions are a tad confusing the way that they're laid out, so I think I'm going to knock it half point off for that. I'm going to knock it half point off for the flash. That's it. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10, which I think is fair. It's a really nice kit. Such a lot of detail on so many of the parts, so much fine engraving, you know, little grates and little panel lines on things that often the manufacturers don't bother with, like the pylons. It's been really, really nicely done. A very good sort of observation of the real aircraft. I think when you get that painted up, that's going to look really, really crisp. Things like those electronics bays, they did that really superbly, didn't they? So I think that's where I'm at. 9 out of 10. Can't say fairer than that, I don't think. Hope you'll give me 10 out of 10. And by the way, if I factored in all the messing about with the costs and the shipping, it would have been lower than 9 out of 10. But you can't criticise Hasegawa, it's not their fault. So I think it's a fair 9 out of 10. Don't forget to give me 10 out of 10 and smash that like button if you don't mind. And if you are not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe. It costs you nothing and you'll get lots more content similar to this. And if you are a subscriber and a regular viewer, just check that you've dinged the notification bell. Not that I'm suggesting you haven't dinged it, but some have been undinged, so it's worth double checking it's still actually lit up. Because many people have been, even I've had this problem where things I follow, you know, they're doing a live show and it's already halfway through before I get told, which is very strange. Something that YouTube have tinkered with and gone wrong, I think. Anyway, so double check. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you found it interesting. I can certainly recommend that to you, that kit. Your biggest problem, of course, will be the same problem that I've had, and that's getting your hands on one. I couldn't get this in Europe or the UK, and the only place I seemed to be able to get it was from Japan. So, yeah, it's not readily available. So you might, you can imagine that this will change hands on eBay for a whole lot more money than what I've just paid. I can imagine that going for mid-50s, 50 to 60 pounds in the UK, because I just don't think you've got much options of where to get it from because they're just so rare, Unless somebody's had a shipment of them recently, I think you might have to go the same route. Just be aware of those pitfalls that I mentioned at the beginning. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you all again soon with another interesting video. That will entertain and educate. And in the meantime, look after yourselves. Thanks a lot. And bye for now.